All right, so are you ready? We're diving deep today into, you guessed it, You Are a Badass.
By Jen Sincero.
That's the one.
Yeah.
This book, it's like a guide, right, to just building an amazing life.
Filled with all sorts of tips and tricks.
It's got these great stories, too, and they make even the more complicated stuff just super easy to understand.
Absolutely.
There was this time, actually, when I was, like, completely terrified of public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking sweaty palms, shaky voice, the whole thing,
It works.
But after reading Sincero's chapter about facing those fears, something it clicked for me. Like fear. It's just energy.
Right.
And I can choose to channel that energy into, like, excitement. It totally changed how I approach things.
I can see that.
So Sincero's, like, secret formula, right? It's all about understanding those sneaky subconscious beliefs.
Right, ones that hold us back.
Exactly. And tapping into what she calls this source energy.
Right.
And realizing that self-love, it's the foundation for everything.
It really is.
And she does not hold back, let me tell you, with these bold, sometimes kind of eyebrow-raising,
Yeah.
chapter titles.
Like what was that one?
Like, lead with your crotch.
That's the one.
It all makes sense in context, trust me.
It does. It does. What I find so fascinating is how Sincero blends these, kind of deep, almost spiritual concepts, but with this voice that's so relatable. And funny. It's like she's your witty best friend, giving you this pep talk, but with some real wisdom mixed in.
Oh, totally.
And I think that's why this book, it resonates with so many people. It just feels approachable, even when she's tackling some pretty big ideas.
Right. So let's just dive in. Chapter 1, Sincero kind of throws us right into the deep end with this idea that we're all running on these subconscious programs installed in our brains way back when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
She tells this hilarious story about a bowling accident she had.
Yeah.
And instead of reacting with, like, the typical, tears, drama, she kind of just shrugged it off.
Yeah.
Turns out her family, they had this unspoken rule about not expressing emotions openly. So she internalized that.
That's a perfect illustration of how those early experiences, they can shape those limiting beliefs that we carry, and they can really sabotage us without us even realizing it.
Right.
Think about, Sincero's fear of success. Deep down, she believed that achieving her dreams would lead to pain. And that belief was probably rooted in her childhood.
It's almost like we're living someone else's script. Like she even calls our subconscious mind a blueprint for our lives, running the show based on this unfiltered information gathered when we were kids,
right?
Otherwise known as our beliefs.
And that's why it's so important to become aware of those programs. Once you shine a light on them, you can start questioning those beliefs, rewriting the script.
So let's talk about this whole concept of source energy.
Yeah.
It's something Sincero really dives into in chapter 2.
Okay.
Now, before you think this is getting a little too woo-woo, just bear with me.
Right.
So Sincero herself, she was like a total skeptic, when it came to anything spiritual. But during a really, really tough time in her life, she started exploring this idea of a higher power. This something bigger than herself that she could, lean on. And it changed everything for her.
The key takeaway here, I think, is that connecting to something greater than yourself, whether you want to call it God or the universe or just this interconnectedness of everything, it can be so incredibly empowering. Yeah. It's about that trust,
Yeah.
That you're not alone, that there's a force that's supporting you, guiding you towards your highest potential.
It's like having this invisible cheering squad rooting for you, I've definitely had those moments where things just they seem to fall into place, and you feel this surge of energy and possibility. It's amazing.
Remember that time you achieved something you never thought possible? Maybe you landed that dream job or you finally ran that marathon.
Right.
In those moments, you tapped into that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that you were capable of anything. And that is the power of connecting to something bigger than yourself.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit to something that's incredibly important.
Okay.
But can be so hard to practice in our busy world.
Oh, for sure.
Being present. In chapter 3, Sincero tackles this with a chapter hilariously titled "Present as a Pigeon."
Present as a pigeon.
You heard that right. She describes this relatable scenario of being in a yoga class and her mind bouncing all over the place, like worried about her form, whether she looks silly, and then finally surrendering to the moment and feeling pure bliss. It's like our minds are always somewhere else, either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future.
Absolutely. And that's precisely why presence is so challenging, but also so essential. I mean, we're bombarded with distractions, and our minds, they're trained to jump from thought to thought. But presence, that's where we find true joy, creativity, and genuine connection. I mean, think about it. When you're fully immersed in a moment, all those worries about the past and anxieties about the future, they fade away. You're just experiencing life as it unfolds, savoring the richness of each experience.
So how do we cultivate more of that presence? Sincero, she's got some interesting suggestions. She points to, like, animals, little kids.
Oh, yeah.
They're the masters of being in the moment, totally absorbed in whatever they're doing, whether it's, a dog chasing a squirrel or a child building a tower of blocks. They're not caught up in their heads. They're just present.
And for us grown-ups who tend to overthink everything, mindfulness techniques can be so incredibly helpful. Paying attention to your breath, noticing those sensations in your body, or simply observing your thoughts without judgment.
Right.
These are all ways to bring yourself back to the present moment.
It's about training our minds to be where our bodies are, instead of getting lost in all that mental chatter.
Absolutely.
Sincero also really emphasizes the importance of slowing down. In our fast-paced culture, we're always rushing from one thing to the next.
Right.
But taking even a few minutes each day to just be still, quiet the mind, connect with your senses, can make a huge difference.
It's like hitting the pause button on all the chaos, allowing yourself to just be. And from that place of stillness, you can tap into a deeper sense of peace and clarity.
So let's talk about that inner critic we all have, that voice whispers, you're not good enough, smart enough, worthy enough.
Oh, I know that voice.
Sincero calls it the big snooze. And she dedicates chapter 4 to understanding how this sneaky saboteur operates.
Yeah.
She tells a story about a woman, Shirley, who decides to quit her corporate job to open a nail salon. And guess what? Her big snooze freaks out, bombarding her with all these, fear-based reasons why she should just stay in her safe but soul-crushing job. It's like a part of us is terrified of change, even when we know deep down that it's for the best.
That's it exactly, Our big snooze, or our ego, is terrified of change. It wants to keep us small, safe, even if that means sacrificing our dreams and living a life that's way below our potential. And it does this by feeding us those negative stories.
Right.
The ones that keep us stuck in fear, self-doubt.
Oh, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about my fear of public speaking?
Yeah.
It was like my mind and body were conspiring to keep me from doing something I really wanted to do.
I remember Sincero, she compares this experience to detoxing from unhealthy habits. Think about quitting smoking or cutting back on sugar. It can feel awful at first.
Oh, yeah.
Your body's literally purging itself of all those toxins. And it's the same with personal growth. When we challenge those limiting beliefs and break free from old patterns, we're detoxing from that negative energy that's been holding us back.
So it's no wonder it feels uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
Right? But the payoff, so worth it. Because on the other side of that fear, a life that's more aligned with who you really are, a life filled with passion, purpose, and yes, badassery.
Exactly. Remember, your true self, the part of you that's not ruled by fear and self-doubt, is just waiting to be unleashed. It's the part of you that believes in miracles, that embraces challenges, and knows deep down that you are capable of creating an extraordinary life.
So how do we quiet that big snooze and crank up the volume on our inner badass?
Yeah.
Sincero says it all starts with self-love.
Right.
And she doesn't mean the narcissistic, look at me kind of self-love.
No, this isn't about ego. It's about recognizing your inherent worthiness, treating yourself with kindness, compassion, believing that you deserve all the good stuff life has to offer. It's about showing up for yourself with that same love and support that you would offer a dear friend.
Sincero tells this really heartwarming story about her niece, who even as a little kid was just naturally generous and loving. She'd instinctively look for ways to help others without any sense of ego or self-importance. It's like she understood that love wasn't a limited resource, but but something you could freely give and receive.
Right. And that's such a beautiful contrast to how so many of us operate as adults, right? We're constantly putting ourselves down, focusing on our flaws, telling ourselves, we're not good enough.
Right.
We've forgotten that simple truth, that we are worthy of love, just as we are.
Sincero, she reminds us that this kind of self-love, it isn't selfish, it's essential. When we fill our own cups with love and acceptance, we're in a much better position to share that love with others.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to cultivate self-love, It's the foundation for a happy, fulfilling life. It's about recognizing that you're worthy of love and happiness, just as you are, flaws and all.
So how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
Cultivate self-love? Sincero suggests some really practical strategies.
Yeah.
First up, affirmations. I know, they can sound a little cheesy.
Right.
But trust me, they work.
Yeah.
It's about consciously choosing to focus on positive, empowering thoughts about yourself. So instead of putting yourself down, start affirming your worthiness.
Okay.
So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm such a mess," try saying, "I am capable and resourceful."
And don't just say the words. Feel them.
Yeah.
Embrace that feeling of being worthy, capable, loved. The more you embody these positive emotions, the more they'll become your reality.
It's about shifting that energy from self-doubt to self-belief.
Totally.
Another tip from Sincero, do things you love.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds so simple, but we often get so caught up in our routines and obligations that we forget to prioritize our own joy.
I agree. Make time for those activities that light you up, whether it's dancing, painting, hiking, reading a good book, Nourishing your soul is just as important as taking care of those physical needs.
Totally. And if you're constantly putting everyone else's needs before your own, it's time to set some boundaries.
Absolutely.
It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's essential. Sincero reminds us that when we're feeling happy and fulfilled, we're in a much better position to show up for the people we love.
Right.
It's like putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping others.
That's such a powerful image, isn't it? Self-love isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about honoring your own needs and making choices that support your well-being.
Okay, so now that we've done some serious self-love work, let's talk about purpose.
Yeah.
We all crave a sense of meaning in our lives, right? But sometimes that pressure to find our one true calling, it can feel totally paralyzing. Sincero tackles this in a really unique way. She shares an anecdote about meeting a guy she calls Loincloth Man.
Loincloth Man.
While hiking in a canyon. So picture this. Sincero and her friends. They're on this hike, and they stumble across this dude literally living off the land.
Yeah.
Wearing a loincloth, hunting squirrels, sleeping in a cave. It's like something out of a movie.
I love it.
What's so fascinating about this encounter is that Loincloth Man, he's not searching for his purpose, he's living it. He's aligned with his values, fully present, and unconcerned with what anyone else thinks.
It's like he's embodying that you are a badass spirit,
Totally.
in the most unexpected way.
Right. And it makes you think maybe finding your purpose isn't about this grand quest. Maybe it's about choosing to live each day with intention, pursuing the things that light you up, being true to yourself.
Even if it means rocking a loincloth.
Even if it means rocking a loincloth.
Exactly. It's about turning into your inner compass, right? And letting it guide your decisions. It's about asking yourself, what feels authentic to me? What brings me joy? What kind of impact do I want to make? Those answers, those hold the clues to your purpose.
So how do we tap into that kind of authentic, purposeful living? Sincero suggests some really cool exercises. One of my favorites is called Be the Alien.
Okay.
It's about imagining you're an alien inhabiting your body, experiencing everything on Earth for the first time.
I like that.
It's such a brilliant way to gain a fresh perspective. When you see your life through the eyes of an alien, you start to notice like all these amazing opportunities and resources that you might be taking for granted.
It's like seeing the world with new eyes.
Right. It's also a great way to challenge like those limiting beliefs that tell us we can't or shouldn't do something. Sincero also encourages us to follow our fantasies. Those daydreams you have when you're bored at work or stuck in traffic.
Oh yeah.
What would you do if money were no object?
Right.
Those fantasies, they often hold clues to our deepest desires, passions.
They might seem impractical or even impossible in our current reality. but they can point us in the direction of a more fulfilling and purposeful life.
Now I know what you might be thinking.
What's that?
But I have responsibilities, bills to pay,
Mm-mm.
a family to take care of. And that's totally valid.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You can still pursue your passions and live a more purposeful life without throwing everything away.
Mm.
It might mean making small changes, carving out time for those creative pursuits, or simply shifting your mindset to focus on what brings you joy.
Remember, even small steps in the right direction can lead to big transformations. It's about making those conscious choices
Yeah.
that align with your values and aspirations. And sometimes those choices, they require courage, a willingness to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the unknown.
Mm.
That's where the real magic happens.
So let's talk about something that can be super powerful,
Okay.
but often gets shrouded in mystery and misconception.
What's that?
Meditation. Now before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh great, another lecture about sitting in silence."
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Sincero makes meditation sound totally approachable, even fun.
Yeah.
She emphasized that meditation isn't about emptying your mind completely. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts and learning to observe them without judgment. It's like creating a space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to choose which ones to engage with and which ones to simply let go.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. And from that place of observation, you can choose to focus on thoughts that empower you and let go of thoughts that drain you. That's where the real power lies.
Sincero lays out this really, really simple guide to meditation. You find a comfortable seat, close your eyes, and bring your attention to your breath. Notice that sensation of your breath flowing in and out of your body.
Right.
And as thoughts arise, simply acknowledge them and gently redirect your focus back to your breath.
And it's okay if your mind wanders. That's totally normal.
Oh, yeah.
The key is to be patient with yourself
Oh.
and gently guide your attention back to the present moment. Even a few minutes of meditation each day can make a huge difference in how you feel and how you experience the world.
Sincero also suggests using a mantra if it helps.
Okay.
This could be, a word or phrase that resonates with you, like peace or love or gratitude. Repeating it silently can help quiet that mental chatter and create a sense of calm.
And if you're new to meditation, there are tons of guided meditations available, online and through apps.
Right.
These can be such a great way to get started and explore different techniques for cultivating presence and inner peace. It's like having a personal meditation coach guiding you every step of the way.
Okay, so now for something super exciting. Harnessing the power of your mind to create the life you desire.
Oh, yeah.
Sincero dives into this in a chapter called Your Brain is Your Bitch.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly empowering.
It is.
She talks about the power of visualization and uses this funny example of visualizing herself meeting the president.
Okay.
No, maybe meeting the president isn't your dream, but the principle applies to anything you want to manifest in your life. It's about creating a clear mental picture of what you want and holding that vision with intention.
Our thoughts, they are incredibly powerful. They shape our reality. When you consistently focus on what you want, you're sending out this powerful, energetic signal to the universe.
Right.
And the more you focus on those desires, the more likely you are to attract them into your life.
It's like we're constantly creating, whether we realize it or not, our thoughts, beliefs, they're the building blocks of our reality. So if we want to create a life we love, we need to start with our thoughts.
I agree. Think about it, Have you ever noticed that when you're in a bad mood, you tend to attract more negative experiences?
Right.
It's because your energy is vibrating at a lower frequency. But when you're feeling positive, optimistic, good things, they just seem to flow into your life more effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's all about energy.
So how do we actually harness this power?
Yeah.
To create the life we want?
Yeah.
Sincero suggests creating a vision board.
Okay.
This This is basically a collage of images and words representing your goals and dreams.
Right.
The idea is to create this visual representation of the life you want to live.
Right.
And every time you look at it, you're reinforcing those desires,
Yeah.
sending out that powerful, energetic signal.
Right.
It's like planting seeds of intention and watching them grow.
And don't underestimate the power of positive self-talk either.
Right.
Pay attention to the stories you're telling yourself,
Mm-hmm.
about who you are, what's possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly putting yourself down or focusing on what you lack, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's like we're programming our own minds for success or failure.
Right.
If we want to succeed, we need to start by believing in ourselves
Yeah.
and our ability to achieve those goals.
Sincero also talks about the importance of upgrading your environment to reflect your aspirations. If you're dreaming of a more luxurious lifestyle, but you're living in this cluttered, chaotic space,
Yeah.
it's going to be harder to manifest those desires.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment that supports your vision.
So start by decluttering your home, bringing in some fresh flowers, or adding some inspiring artwork to your walls. These small changes, they can shift your energy, create a more supportive environment for those dreams to flourish.
Absolutely. And surround yourself with people who believe in your potential and inspire you to reach higher. Their positive energy and belief in you can be contagious.
Okay, now this next chapter is where things get really interesting. And maybe a little controversial.
Oh, okay.
It's called Lead with Your Crotch.
Lead with your crotch.
And yes, you heard that right.
All right.
Sincero uses this super relatable and hilarious story about her band called, wait for it, Crotch. Her and her friend, they started this band even though they had no idea how to play their instruments.
I love it.
They were driven by pure passion and a desire to express themselves, even if it meant sounding a little rough around the edges.
This story, it perfectly illustrates the power of embracing that beginner's mindset. You know, when we're starting something new, it's easy to get caught up in perfectionism, self-doubt. But if we can let go of those fears and just dive in with enthusiasm, we'll be amazed by what we can create.
It's about remembering the joy of creating, of exploring, of simply having fun. Sincero reminds us that life, it isn't meant to be taken so seriously. When we can tap into that childlike sense of playfulness, we open ourselves up to creativity, to joy, to a sense of limitless possibility.
And remember, lead with your crutch isn't about being reckless or irresponsible. It's about being true to your passions, pursuing your dreams with boldness, and embracing life with a sense of adventure. It's about trusting your gut, taking risks, and having the courage to put yourself out there, even if it means making a few mistakes along the way.
So how can we incorporate this lead with your crotch attitude into our own lives? Well, as Sincero suggests, we first identify those things that we're truly passionate about, those activities that make us feel alive, excited.
Right. Then make a conscious effort to incorporate more of those activities into your life. It might mean taking a dance class or joining a hiking group or starting a side hustle that aligns with your passions. The key is to prioritize things that bring you joy and to approach them with that sense of playfulness and experimentation.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit, talk about something that can be a real struggle for a lot of us.
Okay.
Giving and receiving. Sincero explores this in a chapter that's both heartwarming and thought-provoking.
Okay.
She starts by sharing that anecdote about her niece, who we've already heard was naturally generous and compassionate, even as a little kid. She understood intuitively that giving felt good,
right,
and that there was always enough to go around. Sincero contrasts this with how many adults approach giving.
Right.
We often give out of obligation or guilt, or we hold back because we're afraid of not having enough for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we're operating from this scarcity mindset.
Right, that fear-based scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You know, when we operate from this place of lack, we're constantly worried about losing what we have. We cling tightly to our resources and hesitate to share them freely.
Right.
But when we shift to a mindset of abundance, we realize There's more than enough to go around. We can give generously, knowing that the universe will always provide for our needs.
It's about trusting that the more you give, the more you receive.
It is. It's like that saying, the more you give, the more you get.
Mm-hmm.
Sincero explains that giving and receiving, they're two sides of the same coin. When we give generously, we open ourselves up to receive abundance in all areas of our lives.
It's about creating a flow of energy, a cycle of abundance.
Exactly.
She also emphasizes that giving isn't just about, money. It can be about time, energy, kindness, or simply offering a listening ear. It's about being of service to others and contributing to the greater good. And when we give from that place of love and abundance, it creates a ripple effect of positivity. It raises our vibration, inspires others to do the same. It's a powerful way to create a more joyful and fulfilling world for ourselves and for others.
Sincero suggests some practical ways to incorporate giving into our daily lives.
Yeah.
She encourages us to donate to causes we care about, to volunteer our time, or to simply offer, acts of kindness to strangers.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, grand gestures. It's the small acts of kindness that can really brighten someone's day.
And don't forget about receiving gracefully, too. When someone offers us a gift or a compliment, we often feel the need to downplay it or reject it.
Right.
But when we can learn to receive with gratitude,
Yeah.
we're honoring the giver and allowing that flow of abundance to continue.
It's about recognizing that receiving is just as important as giving. It's about allowing ourselves to be supported, nurtured, loved. And it's about acknowledging, the generosity of others.
And don't forget about giving to yourself, too. It's just as important to treat yourself with kindness, compassion, and generosity. Make time for self-care, pursue your passions, and invest in your growth and well-being. When you nourish yourself,
Right.
You're in a much better position to give to others.
Okay, so this next chapter is all about gratitude. And Sincero, she presents it in such a fun and engaging way.
Oh, yeah.
She starts by sharing that hilarious anecdote about answering the phone as a kid,
Okay.
which we talked about earlier, remember?
Yeah.
How her parents made her answer the phone so formally, like she was running a business.
Yeah.
It wasn't until she realized her friends could just say hello
Yeah.
that she understood how silly the whole thing was. It's funny how these little childhood experiences can really shape our perceptions of the world.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder that we often take things for granted. We get so used to our routines and our blessings that we forget to appreciate them. It's like we're on autopilot, going through the motions without really savoring the richness of each experience.
Right. And that's where gratitude comes in, when we consciously choose to focus on the good in our lives.
Yeah.
It shifts our whole perspective. It helps us see the abundance all around us and raises our vibration, making us magnets for more good stuff.
Think about it. When you're feeling grateful,
Yeah.
it's hard to feel those negative emotions like anger, resentment, self-pity.
Right.
Gratitude is the antidote to negativity. It's a choice to focus on the good, even when things are tough.
Sincero explains that gratitude is more than just, a feeling. It's a powerful, energetic force. When we express gratitude, we align with the frequency of abundance.
Right.
We're inviting more good things into our lives.
And here's a really cool part. Gratitude, it can actually strengthen your faith. When you consistently appreciate the good in your life,
Yeah.
it reinforces your belief that the universe is benevolent, supportive. It's like building that trust in the universe's ability to deliver good things into your life.
Sincero shares an example of how she's always grateful for finding a good parking spot, even though it happens pretty regularly. She says this consistent gratitude has actually made it even easier for her to find good parking.
It's like the universe is responding to her appreciation,
Right.
by delivering more of what she's grateful for.
Right. It's like when you focus on the positive, you start noticing more positive things.
Right.
And the more you appreciate those positive things, the more they seem to multiply. It's a beautiful cycle of abundance. So how do we cultivate more gratitude in our lives? Sincero suggests a few really, really simple practices.
Okay.
One of my favorites is keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh, yeah.
Each day, take a few minutes to write down things you're grateful for, big or small. It could be anything from a delicious meal to a supportive friend to a beautiful sunset. The key is to really savor those blessings
Yeah.
and allow yourself to feel that emotion of gratitude.
Another great practice is to reframe challenges with the phrase, this is good, because
Right.
Sarah uses the example of getting a flat tire.
Okay.
Instead of getting frustrated and angry, she challenges herself to find the good in that situation. Maybe it gave her a chance to connect with her kids while they waited for roadside assistance, or maybe it forced her to slow down and appreciate those simple things.
It's about choosing to see the good, even when it's hidden beneath the surface.
Exactly. This practice, it helps us, shift our perspective and find those hidden blessings in even the most challenging experiences. It reminds us that everything happens for a reason, and that even setbacks can be opportunities for growth.
All right, so let's dive into something that can be tough, but incredibly important for our emotional and spiritual well-being.
Okay.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
So Fitzgerald tackles this topic with her, her signature blend of humor, compassion, and straight talk.
I like it.
She emphasizes that forgiveness isn't about, condoning bad behavior or letting people off the hook. It's about releasing ourselves from the burden of resentment,
Right.
put up our energy to create a more positive and fulfilling life.
Exactly. Holding on to anger and resentment. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts us in the long run.
Right.
It's about recognizing that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's about choosing to let go of the pain of the past and move forward with lightness and freedom.
Sincero suggests a few really powerful strategies for cultivating forgiveness.
Huh?
One of my favorites is finding compassion for the pussy you're resenting.
Yeah.
She suggests imagining that person as a little kid, acting out of fear or insecurity. It's about recognizing that everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have, and that hurtful actions, they often stem from pain or confusion. It's about seeing the humanity in everyone, even those who have wronged us.
It's also important to remember that forgiveness is a process. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
Be patient with yourself. Allow yourself to feel the full range of emotions that come up as you work through it. It's okay to feel anger, sadness, even resentment. Allow yourself to feel those emotions fully, and then choose to release them.
Sincero also suggests a few practical exercises for releasing that anger and resentment.
Okay.
She recommends journaling.
Yeah.
Physical release exercises like punching a pillow, or simply talking it out with a trusted friend or a therapist. It's about finding healthy outlets for those negative emotions.
Right.
So they don't fester and poison us from the inside out.
And remember, you don't have to forgive someone in person or even tell them you've forgiven them. Forgiveness is an internal process. It's about finding peace within yourself. Regardless of the other person's actions or apologies, it's about choosing to set yourself free from the weight of the past.
Okay, so let's talk about something super important for personal growth.
Right.
Flexibility. Sincero dedicates a whole chapter to this concept, and uses her experiences traveling in India to illustrate its importance. She shares these hilarious anecdotes about riding on this chaotic bus, encountering a friendly stranger who wouldn't stop talking, and witnessing these cultural differences that just challenged her assumptions about how things should be.
It's about realizing, that the world is this vast and diverse place. And our way of doing things isn't the only way.
Right.
These experiences, they highlight the beauty of embracing the unknown and being open to new ways of thinking and being. When we let go of our rigid beliefs and expectations, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities and adventure.
Sincero also talks about the importance of learning from other cultures. She describes how the openness and the warmth of the Indian people challenged her own, tendency to be guarded, reserved. It made her realize that there are many different ways to connect with others, and that her own cultural conditioning might be limiting her ability to to experience those connections fully.
Right. It's about recognizing that there are many different ways to live a fulfilling and meaningful life, and that our own cultural conditioning, it might be limiting our perspectives. It's about embracing diversity, both within ourselves and in the world around us.
So how do we cultivate more flexibility in our own lives?
Right.
Sincera, she suggests a few things. First, be willing to try new things,
Okay.
even if they scare you a little. Step outside your comfort zone, explore different cultures, and challenge your assumptions about how the world works.
It's also important to be open to different perspectives. Listen to people who have different beliefs than you, and try to see things from their point of view. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it can broaden your horizons and help you grow as a person. It's about cultivating empathy and understanding.
Right, we're in the home stretch now, and this next chapter is all about facing our fears. It's called "Fear is for Suckers," and it's a powerful reminder that we don't have to let fear control our lives. We can choose to face our fears head on, reclaim our power.
I like it.
Sincero, she starts by sharing her own experience of facing a major fear. Traveling to India alone for the first time. She talks about how she built it up in her mind as this terrifying, life-altering experience. She imagined all sorts of worst-case scenarios, and her anxiety through the roof. But once she arrived in India, she was swept away by the beauty, the culture, the kindness of the people. Her fear quickly transformed into excitement and a sense of adventure. It's a great reminder that our fears, they often stem from our own imaginations. And the reality is often much less scary than we anticipate.
Right. This story, it beautifully illustrates how fear often stems from our thoughts and expectations. We build up these scenarios in our minds that are often far worse than reality. It's like our minds are creating these horror movies that we then believe are real.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when we can challenge those fears and step outside our comfort zones, we often discover that the things we were most afraid of were actually the most rewarding experiences.
Exactly. It's about realizing that on the other side of fear is freedom, growth, and incredible joy.
Sincere also talks about the crab effect.
The crab effect.
Which is basically this idea that when one crab tries to escape from a bucket, the other crabs they'll pull it back down. It's like they're sabotaging each other's attempts to escape.
It's a metaphor, isn't it, for how people sometimes they try to hold us back from our dreams, whether it's, out of jealousy, fear, or a desire to keep us small, safe. It's like they're threatened by our growth.
Right.
And they feel the need to dim our light, to make themselves feel better. But here's the thing, we don't have to listen to those crabs.
Right. We have the power to choose our own path, to pursue our dreams, to create a life aligned with our highest potential.
Absolutely. We can choose to surround ourselves with people who support our growth and celebrate our successes.
So how do we overcome those fears and break free from the crab effect? Cecil offers some really, really practical strategies.
Oh, great.
She encourages us to reframe fear as excitement. So instead of saying I'm so scared to give this presentation, try saying I'm so excited to share my ideas with the world.
Right. That subtle shift in language.
Yeah. It can actually change your physiological response and help you to feel more empowered. It's about shifting your perspective from fear to possibility.
Sincero also suggests breaking down scary tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. So if you're afraid of writing a book, start by committing to writing 1 page a day. The key is to take action, even if it's a small step. It's about building momentum and proving to yourself that you can do it.
And don't forget the power of the present moment either. When you're feeling overwhelmed by fear, bring your attention back to your breath and focus on what's happening right now.
Right.
Remind yourself that you're safe, you're capable, and you have everything you need to handle whatever challenges, come your way.
This next chapter is all about how our perceptions of others, they can reveal a lot about ourselves. It's called Millions of Mirrors, and it's this fascinating exploration of how we project our insecurities and judgments onto the people around us. Right? It's like everyone we meet is holding up a mirror, reflecting back aspects of ourselves that we might not be, fully aware of.
Sincera uses a personal example to illustrate this.
Okay.
She talks about how she used to be intimidated by girly girls, women who were like, super feminine, into fashion and makeup. She felt this sense of judgment towards them. And she realized that her discomfort, it stemmed from her own insecurities about her femininity.
It's a really common pattern. We often judge others for the very qualities that we dislike in ourselves. It's a defense mechanism that helps us avoid, facing our shadows. It's easier to point the finger outward than to turn the spotlight inward and confront those parts of ourselves that we might not be comfortable with.
It's like those judgments are really just reflections of our own internal struggles.
Exactly. Sincera challenges us to pay attention to the things that trigger us in others. What are the qualities that annoy us, irritate us, even infuriate us?
Right.
Chances are those qualities are reflecting back something that you're struggling with internally. It might be a fear or an insecurity or a limiting belief. It's like those people are pushing our buttons.
Right.
And those buttons, they're connected to our own unresolved issues.
It's amazing how much we can learn about ourselves just by paying attention to our reactions to others.
It is, isn't it?
And instead of getting caught up in judgment, we can use those moments as opportunities for self-reflection and growth.
Exactly. Instead of judging others, try to see them, with compassion, understanding. Remember, everyone is fighting their own battles. And their behavior, it's often a reflection of their pain or their confusion.
Right.
It's about, extending grace to others, recognizing that we're all on this journey together.
And we're all doing the best we can.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about creating a life that's truly fulfilling, aligned with our values. Sincero dedicates a whole chapter to this concept and calls it the sweet life. It's about, creating a life that feels good on a soul level, a life filled with joy, meaning, and purpose.
Right.
She starts by sharing a couple of poignant anecdotes about her aging cat and her grandmother.
Okay.
These stories are a reminder of the preciousness of life and the importance of cherishing each moment. They remind us that life is finite.
Right.
And we need to make the most of the time we have.
Sincero, she emphasizes that life is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. It's about finding that sweetness in those everyday moments, appreciating the simple things, and creating experiences that bring us joy and fulfillment. She also talks about the importance of letting go of things that no longer serve us. This could be toxic relationships, negative thought patterns, or even material possessions that clutter our lives.
It's about creating space, for new possibilities and experiences that align with our evolving values and aspirations. It's about decluttering our lives, both physically and emotionally,
right,
to make room for what truly matters.
So how do we create this sweet life for ourselves? Sincera, she suggests that we start by getting clear on our values. What are the things that are most important to us?
Right.
What kind of impact do we want to make on the world? What brings us joy? Makes us feel alive?
Once you know your values, you can start making choices that are aligned with them. It might mean changing careers or moving to a new city or simply saying no to things that drain your energy and time.
Right.
It's about creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you. Sincero also encourages us to make time for things that bring us joy, whether it's, spending time with loved ones or pursuing creative hobbies or simply relaxing in nature. It's about making those things a priority, not just something we squeeze in when we have time. It's about creating a life that that feels good on a soul level.
Right.
A life aligned with your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about remembering that creating that life is an ongoing process. It's
Yeah.
about making choices each day that move you closer to that vision.
Okay, ready to kick some serious ass and make those dreams a reality.
Let's do it.
Chapter 23, it's all about taking action, making decisions,
Yeah.
and committing to creating the life you desire.
Right.
It's about moving from dreaming to doing,
Yeah.
from wishing to manifesting.
I like it.
Sincero tells this awesome story about Henry Ford and his determination to create the V8 engine.
Mm-hmm.
His engineers, they told him it was impossible,
Oh, wow.
but he refused to give up. He was like, nope, I know it can be done, figure it out.
Wow.
And guess what? They did.
This story, it perfectly illustrates the power of unwavering belief, and determination.
Yeah.
When you make a decision and commit to it fully, the universe has a way of conspiring to help you achieve it.
It's like that saying, leap in the net will appear.
I love that one.
Sometimes we have to take that first step, even if we can't see the whole path,
Yeah.
laid out in front of us. It's about trusting that the path will unfold as we move forward.
And remember, taking action is the antidote to fear.
Mm.
When we're stuck in action, our fears, they tend to grow, fester. But when we start moving, even in small ways, we gain momentum and our confidence builds.
Mm.
It's about proving to ourselves that we can handle whatever challenges come our way. Sincero emphasizes the importance of getting good at making decisions.
Mm.
She says that indecision, it's one of the biggest roadblocks to success. We get so caught up in trying to make the perfect decision that we end up paralyzed, stuck. We second guess ourselves, overthink everything, and we end up going nowhere. It's about trusting your intuition, making a choice, and then committing to it fully. And remember, even if you make a wrong decision, you can always course correct. The important thing is to keep moving forward. It's about learning from your mistakes and using them as opportunities for growth.
All right, let's talk about money, honey.
Okay.
This is a topic that can bring up a lot of fear and anxiety for people.
Oh, for sure.
But Sincero, she tackles it with her signature blend of humor and straight talk. She demystifies money, breaks down those limiting beliefs, and empowers us to create a healthy and abundant relationship with it. She starts by sharing a relatable story about buying a new car and her internal struggle between choosing a practical, affordable car.
Okay.
And going for the luxurious sporty car that she truly desired.
Right.
It's like that battle between our practical side and our desires and often our fears around money get in the way of allowing ourselves to have what we truly want.
Absolutely. You know, this anecdote, it perfectly illustrates how our relationship with money, it's often fraught with those limiting beliefs and those anxieties.
Right.
We tell ourselves we can't afford the things that we want, or we feel guilty about spending money on ourselves. We might have inherited those negative beliefs about money, from our families or society. And those beliefs, they can hold us back from experience and financial abundance. But Sincero challenges us to shift our perspective and see money as an exchange of energy when we're aligned with our worth and provide value to the world.
Yeah.
Money flows into our lives more effortlessly. It's about recognizing that we are worthy of abundance, and that money is simply a tool that can help us create the life we desire.
She emphasizes that our beliefs about money, they're as important as our actions. So if we believe that
if we believe that money is scarce or we're unworthy of abundance, we will create experiences that reflect those beliefs.
It's like we're attracting those experiences into our lives through our thoughts and beliefs.
Right. But if we can shift our mindset to one of abundance and believe that we deserve to be wealthy, we will attract more financial opportunities into our lives.
Right. It's about aligning our energy with our financial goals and trusting that the universe will provide.
Sincero offers some really, really empowering perspectives on money. First, she encourages us to see it as an exchange of energy.
Mm.
When we provide value to the world, whether it's through, our work or creativity or service to others, we deserve to be compensated fairly.
Absolutely. She also talks about the importance of aligning our energy with our financial goals.
Right.
This means visualizing ourselves living the life we desire, feeling the emotions of abundance, and taking inspired action to create that reality. It's about getting clear on what we want, feeling the emotions of having it, and then taking steps to make it happen.
Sincera also suggests some practical strategies for improving our relationship with money.
Okay.
She recommends reading books about wealth consciousness, surrounding ourselves with people who have a positive money mindset.
Right. And tracking our spending to become more aware of our financial habits. It's about educating ourselves about money, shifting our beliefs, and taking practical steps to create financial abundance.
And don't underestimate the power of gratitude either.
Right.
When we're grateful for the money we have, even if it's not as much as we desire, we send a signal of abundance to the universe.
Right.
We're more likely to attract more financial blessings into our lives.
It's about appreciating what we have and trusting that more is on its way. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope you're feeling fired up and ready to embrace your inner badass. As we wrap up our deep dive into You Are a Badass, I want to recap some of the key takeaways.
Okay.
First and foremost, this book is a powerful reminder that we have the power to create the lives we desire. It all starts with believing in ourselves, challenging those limiting beliefs, and embracing the truth of who we are. Sincero encourages us to cultivate self-love, to tap into the power of source energy, and to live each day with intention and purpose.
Right.
She reminds us that we are worthy, capable, and deserving of all the good stuff life has to offer.
And that we're not alone on this journey, We have the support of the universe, our inner wisdom, and a community of like-minded individuals who are also striving to live their best lives. We can lean on each other for support, encouragement, inspiration.
You Are Badass. It's more than just a self-help book.
Right.
It's a call to action. It's an invitation to step into our power, embrace our awesomeness, and create a life filled with joy, abundance, and, yes, badassery.
And remember, the journey of personal growth, it's ongoing. It's about consistently showing up for ourselves, challenging those comfort zones, and embracing the messy, beautiful process of becoming the best versions of ourselves.
It's about continuing to learn, grow, and evolve.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question inspired by You Are a Badass.
Okay.
What limiting belief are you ready to release? What empowering truth will you replace it with? What small step can you take today to start living more like the badass you truly are? Take a moment to reflect on those questions and see what insights emerge. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and inspiration to create a life that is truly awesome. Keep shining, keep growing, and keep kicking ass. Thanks for tuning in.